Merry Christmas to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Press Hour. It is about 3 years getting to 4 since the presidential plan for the reconstruction of the Northwest and Southwest regions was created, actually put in place. Now we're going to ask on today's edition of Press Hour, reconstruction of Northwest, Southwest regions this far. How far the people involved gone with the reconstruction of the Northwest and Southwest regions? The question that many people are asking is, how can we reconstruct when the crisis is still raging on? Of course, we know of examples across the world where reconstruction takes place in the heat of war. People are still living there, and we have to move on while looking for solutions. That is our take on today's edition of Press Hour. And to talk about this topic here today, we have invited the Senator Henry Francis, who is the co-founder of the Northwest Peace Movement for Cessation of Violence. He is also a former Southwest for the Cessation of Violence. And he is also a former member of the National Assembly, and he led the Cameroonian delegation to the Nigeria and South Africa for peace. Honorable Senator, I want to welcome you to Press Hour today.
Thank you. It's my pleasure being here this afternoon, and I think we'll try to express our views on this very pertinent topic.
Co-founder of Northwest Southwest Peace Movement for Cessation of Violence. How far have you gone with your initiative? We know there is still violence.
Well,
just briefly.
It's just a wish, and we wished that our association could do something for violence to end. But after all the efforts, even coupled with the efforts government have done after the national dialogue to appease the situation, violence still continues, which means there's something wrong somewhere.
There is actually something wrong. We're going to look at that and see how we can come out of that. You are co-founder. I should pay tribute to the other co-founder with you, Honorable Mbile Nobe, who before his demise was a friend of Press Hour. We want to wish him.
We actually miss him. And we wish him
well. Yeah. So you're going to talk about that in the course of the program. We have Moa Patrick. Moa Patrick is desk editor in the Guardian Post newspaper. Patrick, welcome to Press Hour.
Thank you very much, Gilan. It's always a pleasure to be part of this program. I'm happy to be part of the last set of panelists for, I'm sure, 2023. This
yes, the one, but last program. We still have the last Sunday, which will be on the 31st of December.
It's always exciting to be part of this very humble panel on Press Hour.
Thank you very much. We are going to introduce Enos Akufo, who is civil society, who also is going to look at the topic from the position of civil society. We will also announce to you that we did everything to get in contact, to invite those who are leading the reconstruction and the development plan of the President of the Republic in Northwest Southwest region, and they closed their doors to Press Hour. That's why you will not have them here. We hope that next time when we invite them on this program, they come on and clarify to the public, tell the public how far they are going with on the program. This time the press is on recess. Most newspapers are not around, but some before they went on recess covered some of the events that Emanuela Vemnui is going to review in our press review. Emanuela.
The presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the Northwest and Southwest regions receives a push of the Islamic Development Bank in the advocate as PM Dion Gute launches 21 billion CFA francs Islamic Bank support in municipal updates. The same support the Sun newspaper says will push the region's recovery. To Cameroon Insider, the 21 billion CFA francs will provide essential basic services to the populations just when CDC board votes 90 billion CFA francs as 2024 2024 budget in the Post, Pamo Board hails management for reviving company and regularly paying the salaries of staff in Cameroon Echoes. Youth empowerment promotion is then said to boost fish farming in Kupe Manyenguba in Echo Outlook, just when Justice Minister launches bar exams at last in the sun. The Post reports that the launch comes after 9-year deadlock. Millions then risk dying of malaria in the center and south regions in the Guardian Post. At a time, the coalition against CPDM for the 2025 presidential election already in disarray in the sun. There is a series of graduations from higher schools of learning in the horizon, The Voice and Cameroon Insider, with 3 Fako traditional rulers said to have earned master's degrees in volcanic times. Cameroon Insider then says it is the festive season and their readers should watch what they eat. And as newspapers go on research during this festive period, so too do I take a break on this slot till the papers resume publication. Until I come your way again, this is your Hour with the Press.
Thank you very much, Emanuela. That was the one but last edition of Press Hour for 2023. We still want to thank God, continue to thank God for keeping us up to this moment. As I speak, Ernest Akufo, civil society actor, has just joined us. Thank you very much, Ernest, for coming on short notice that we got out to you. We're very grateful for your presence here on Press Hour today. You're always there. Welcome.
The pleasure is always shared, Killian. You know, that's part of service to the nation, right?
That is
and it gives me delight to take part in this last but one edition of Press Hour for the year 2023 and meeting great men. The Senator Enyi Francis and my dear brother Moa and the population out there. I think within the next hour or so we're going to dissect what this development palaver in the northwest and southwest regions is all about. Yes, because you see, in as much as there is wahala, it doesn't give room for the fact that reconstruction shouldn't take place.
Thank you. We are going to go into that. You just got into the topic head on. Thank you for coming, Ernest. And we are going to start by looking at the reconstruction, how possible, because it's since April 3, 2020 that the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of the northwest and southwest region was put in place, and the first coordinators were put in place. We have the second team of coordinators this far. I want to see how far we've gone with the reconstruction of the presidential plan. If we were to ask you, Patrick, you were in the northwest last week, and from backstage reports I gathered that you were very happy that you could just cruise from Babaju to Bamenda on a very smooth road.
Is that part of the reconstruction plan?
The reconstruction plan is holistic. Yes. So what will you say with some of those reports as a reporter that you brought back from Northwest last week?
Yes, it's true. Your reading of my experience in the Northwest is not entirely wrong. I was quite delighted to have noticed that work is advancing along the troubled Bamenda Babaju Road, a road that has caused untold hardship, brought untold hardship to the people of the Northwest and those of the West region, because you should understand that that road is not just a national road, but it is a trans-Saharan road linking Cameroon to neighboring countries of Nigeria and Ghana. And so that road is of utmost economic importance, not only to Cameroonians, but to our neighbors. And it has been an eyesore for the past 7 years or more. I'm sure the road actually went really bad in 2013, leading to general outcry among rural users, and even taking the now late national chairman of the SDF out of his quiet enjoyment in Bamenda to step down on the road to find out what was happening. And we even gathered that at that time he had to chase away the agents who were operating the toll gate at Matazam, and since then they have not been on that toll gate. In fact, the toll gate is virtually not existing as we speak, and so you can imagine how bad the road has been. And it is just a very short portion, less than 60 kilometers, and
to get right to
from Babaju to Bamenda, it's less than 60 kilometers, and people had to spend close to 5 hours just to have their way along that road. So the construction work that are actually ongoing has brought a lot of relief to road users, especially some of us who used to have just imagine that you want to go to Bamenda, you can have you already feel defeated the moment you think of embarking on that journey. But now it is quite relieving that work is advancing, and I want to give credit to Bonds Construction, which is our own indigenous company. I think that it's important for us to understand that as Cameroonians, we can handle some of our problems ourselves. We must not necessarily get the expatriates or foreigners to come do this job for us, and Bonds is actually doing a credible job along that road, and I think they deserve a pat on the back.
Yes, we join you without any advert to give Bounce a pat on the back, as you rightly say. But we're going to come back to when we're talking about reconstruction proper, why locals should be involved in the entire process. Of Northwest, Southwest. But now the wish, I'm still with you, is that when you leave the West region from Babaju to Bamenda, you should continue to Ngwakotundi and Dop,
of course,
Kumbu, and why not get to Nkambe? Yes. Go past your place and go to Nkambe.
Yes, one of my last trips to the Northwest, though for a sad reason, I lost my dad, and the burial was on the 1st of December. I went right down to Woman, even to my village of origin, Way.
Our renewed condolences again.
Yes, and I was quite excited to have noticed that there's some degree of work ongoing along the Bafut stretch, the Bamenda Bafut, and then leading down to Wum. The Génie Militaire are actually doing some maintenance work, just at grading of the road, surface terracing, and all of that. So it's making the journey really now easy for those who are getting down to Wum and other parts of the Northwest region, because you can imagine that for a distance of less than 60 kilometers again, that road transport fare used to be 1,000 francs, but it has skyrocketed to about 20,000 francs if you have to take a bike alone. So you can imagine, with the sufferings ongoing in the Northwest, people have to pay that kind of amount just to get access to the regional capital, Bamenda.
We are truly glad that such positive comments are coming from Patrick. We know
why are you critical. No, I'm just making an observation of what is happening.
That is why we are happy to hear that that's what's going on. Senator, when you listen to Patrick, what he went up and saw and has brought back as a report of the way things are getting on in terms of reconstruction. That is Northwest. We're going to go to the Southwest because there is even better.
Well, I feel very motivated hearing from Patrick, and I'm sure many Cameroonians out there will equally feel that, because we know Patrick used to be very hard on certain issues. And today, if he's coming to tell us that quite a lot is happening on the ground, especially in the Northwest, but now,
we believe him.
Where he has gone, then I believe him. And we are so impressed so far that I think the violence has subsided to an extent.
Yeah, of course.
And people are becoming realistic, and the population now is in search of peace and development. So I believe that if it continues at this pace, much will be done, even right in the rural areas where we hear that the boys have left the cities and are now in far rural areas and terrorizing the populations in those areas. And I think gradually, with this wish for peace from the population in the two regions, more will be done, because we can now see how active various communities are now against violence. It has become a talk of the day everywhere, from all mouths, youths, adults, children. Everybody wants peace. And I do believe that if reconstruction has to take place like it has started, we have areas, I would call them green zones, where we will encourage government or the committee in charge to put more energy in those areas and let reconstruction take place seriously. The areas that are still red or yellow will gradually follow, because people will be jealous to hear that in Widikum this project has been successful, this one has been done, something has been done even in Menka, far off in my area, something has been done in Jikwa, in Gi, in Bengui. Other areas that feel that where the boys are not allowing people to do something will start being jealous. I will say, but if it is happening in Widikum, why can't it happen here in my own subdivision or my own division? So I do believe that if we take that approach to start developing these green zones, then more will follow. And I think in the coming year, a lot will be done, and you'll see that the whole region, Northwest and Southwest, will embrace development.
Yes.
And we can start feeling that the violence has subsided. But also, we are not also certain, because we can appreciate something today, and tomorrow the devil gets up again and say he is going to destroy. So,
but that should not stop us.
That should not stop us.
We should consolidate.
But we should continue consolidating and talking to them, because I know that before some of these successes are taking place, they have been talking.
Now,
we encourage talking all the time.
Now I was in Boya Monday, Tuesday, this week that just passed. You have a ride from Douala to Boya with very little that you face as problem on the way. From Douala to Limbe, you go there, you have, those are the green zones that you are talking about. You also go to places like Bangep, for example. You have development projects that are going on in some of those areas, and you have a good number of those places in the Southwest, like you have less in the Northwest. So what you are saying is that reconstruction, full reconstruction, should go into the areas that are green, and why the yellow areas zones go green, then it goes. Now the question goes to Ernest Akufo, who is of the civil society. The participation of the local population. We need that, without which reconstruction will always be a problem. Where does the civil society, the local development, the local population come in?
Thank you very much, Kilian. Before I get to your question, I think I will be very much indifferent with what Patrick and Senator have said as far as the reconstruction process is concerned and the goods which it is bringing. Then to answer to your question, I would say it takes two to tango. Yes, because if all of what we heard they said is ongoing, if the population is not liaising with the people bringing in the development, I don't think anything gonna work. I may want to set the example from my own village, Awi. Recently, you know, we celebrated the Silver Jubilee of His Royal Majesty Fonfozo II and the Diamond Jubilee of Nagda, Ndonga Cultural and Development Association. So we were talking development there, and we looked at the development strides within the past 60 years. What NAGDA has done. NAGDA doesn't work in isolation. NAGDA works in synergy with the villagers, with the other people. NAGDA works together with the partners. And who are these partners? The partners are those we are talking about now in reconstruction. Because Senator landed by trying to say this is a time where reconstruction must take place, but with the participation of all. Because you may want to give something to somebody, if the person doesn't appreciate the thing, even if it's gold or silver, that person will not give value to it. But if the person gives value to the thing, the person embraces it and keeps it jealously. So the local population, I think in some areas where the development is taking place, let me take a big picture in point. The stretch of road between Babadro and Menda, we know it has been trailing. It ought to have been done ere long. The World Bank almost cancelled the project, but thank God they are not the foolies. So when it started, the violence was at its peak. The boys did not want to hear anything about that. But progressively, they were conscientized. and they had
The
to give it.
boys or the local communication?
Boys and
communities?
local community. The local community could not deter that project. Let me tell you something about that project again. You know, that project had to extend to Pening, to Awing, and maybe to some neighboring villages around there. I know to Awing we had about from mile 11 down to the valley down there. It had to take about some 22 kilometers of tarring. The project is not sidelined anyway. It is still ongoing, but it ought to have been done along. So you see, even if when you get to Awing now, as we're celebrating some 2 weeks ago, you find that the development strides are part of the reconstruction process.
Yes, I am still with you on the participation of the local communities. I just want someone to tell me it's not true, because I got it from reliable sources. When the green zone that we have in areas, you're talking more about Northwest, I know so much, there is more green zones in the Southwest than you have in the Northwest.
Yes, of course.
Now, in the case of Bangem, the people themselves decided to chase away those boys from their community. I'm talking about the local community, the population. And they made sure that no person came from outside to operate or to hide in their community after operating elsewhere. Now, this is the type of local participation. When you are in Boya, as I was talking about earlier, if you are going towards Monya, you start being afraid. You are going towards Muyuka, Ekona, you are afraid it's getting out of town, but in town, in Limba, you don't have such things, you can have sporadic kind of violence that does not come easily. So we are talking about the people themselves facing the boys.
I like when you want me to lay emphasis on that. Anything that is green is cultivated, right? Yes, when it's left fallow, it either becomes red or yellow. So getting a green zone means there is a lot of underground work that is done, and that's just what we do in a village community. I'll not beat my chest to say we have scared away the boys from our land, because can you identify them? You cannot identify them.
I do not agree with you.
But
I do not agree with you on that point, because these are not spirits. They are not foreigners. They are Cameroonians. They are our brothers and our sisters. More brothers than sisters, because we have fewer women in that. So when you say we don't identify them,
when I say that, Kilian, it's not like saying they are spirits per se, as you do say. No, they are not spirits. But you see, the boys is a mentality. It's a spirit which gets into people. Someone feels discontented about a certain situation and picks up arms. It is, people don't write applications to get into that, because the more you are putting them away, you may get another germ that germinates into somebody that, oh no, this happened, I must go on with the rampage, I must go on with the killings, I must go on with this. So that's why I say we must be careful in saying that we have completely eradicated. There may be one or two, but since their force may not equate the population they face in front of them, they do it in the hiding. So that's why I just want to completely say no, we can't beat our chest, because if we're beating our chest, tomorrow is Monday and it's 25th of December. Are we very sure the people will go to the streets celebrating in fanfare? Monday in the Northwest and in some parts of the Northwest and Southwest regions, people don't go out. If it were that on Mondays there were no ghost town, I'll beat my chest and say to hell with the voices who are terrorizing. But thank God, Senator equally said they have backtracked it to the suburbs where they are terrorizing the people. They are no more found in the city centers.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Senator. You said, as he is saying, and as he's saying, they have been pushed more to the suburbs, to the villages. Are you taking your initiative of cessation of violence to the villages where now we have more of the violence?
Yeah, and everybody is almost involved now in cessation of violence. And we will not say it's only our movement that is doing that. Because anybody you talk to in the region will tell you the same story. Even those of us here in Yaoundé, they will tell you the same story. We want peace. And many are acting on their own as individuals to even talk with these boys and to see how they can tame them. You know, they became like wild animals, and many have been tamed through the efforts of elite, through the efforts of their families, through the efforts of their friends, and even through the efforts of those who have left in the disarmament centers.
Yes.
So they communicate, and you could see that many are not acting like they were acting 2-3 years ago. And one thing, you should know as well that those who followed the wind in 2017, 2018, 2019, who just jumped into it, most of them are out. And if you look in some of these areas where they still operate, you will notice that these are boys that before 2016 were criminals in their various localities.
Those are stealing.
They were stealing around, smoking and doing funny things and so on. So this opportunity came for them to do legal stealing with arms, and they can kidnap somebody in public.
Not legal.
To them.
Public.
Yes.
Public stealing.
Exactly. So what they do now, they feel that they now have the right because they have the arms. So if I come to my community, we know all them by name. 2016, before these Achurians even gather in my house, all those banga smokers.
I was going to come to that.
I used to receive them in my house and organize a small reception. Then you talk to them. And during that period, I remember even talking to some, and 2 stopped from that day to smoke. They started the activities, the 2 are married, and their life is going on quite well. Any boy still left in this thing now is not more because of the wind that blew in 2017, 2018, 2019. The other ones that went in by mistake are all out. Either in the disarmament centers, or they have negotiated with their families and administrations, and they're in the cities doing their private business.
Now, Patrick, any reaction to that? Because I want to move the debate forward by looking at the way reconstruction was conceived. You have the recovery phase, you have the reconstruction, you like restoration phase, now you have the development. In the recovery phase, can we say that we have recovered, had an inventory of who has lost what, and all of that?
No, I think that we can't give those in charge of the reconstruction and development of Northwest and the Southwest regions. We can't give them 3 years after the initiative was launched. We can't give them a pass mark, because if you want to look at what has been destroyed, it's not commensurate to what has been recovered or reconstructed. It's true that members of the committee recently explained that they are still at the recovery level. They have not yet gotten to the reconstruction level before development. And so when we look at the recovery,
although at the same time
that is almost simultaneous. It's almost simultaneous, because there are some feasible projects that we have seen around.
Yes.
But if you look at what has been lost in the process of this armed conflict, it's not commensurate to what has been recovered. It's true, they gave some statistics some months back that 800 documents had been recovered and handed to beneficiaries.
That's
including civil status documents like birth certificates and marriage certificates, national identity cards and all of that. That was as of March, I think, this year. 800, if you look at the damage that has been caused in the Northwest and Southwest, with homes, set ablaze, sometimes at night, sometimes when the people are in the farms, you come back home, you're literally left with just the farm dress that we're putting on. Then you can imagine the degree of damage that has been ongoing. And we cannot really be so excited about this initiative, truth be told, because to me, a lot of attention at this moment ought to be focused on ensuring a return to normalcy, because even what we are recovering, there's no guarantee.
Return to normalcy is part of recovery.
It is part of recovery, but we are certainly we appear to be putting the cart before the horse, because if we recover still all of this and with the guns still smoking, with the violence still on the rise, there is no guarantee that even the documents that we have recovered are going to be protected. Or the people who live in those areas will make use of those documents, or their houses will not be set ablaze again. And even the soldiers, we have to be very honest here.
Yeah, before you
if you look at the recent statistics
I will give you time to talk about that. In the recovery phase, you have some pillars. You have like strengthening social cohesion, let people start understanding the situation and trying to
revitalize the economy and all of that.
That's another one. And then
yes, it's true.
Social instruction,
social cohesion. You know,
infrastructure like hospitals, schools, and the rest. And we have a bit of that.
We have, and I agree with you. But like I said from the beginning, we can't give them a pass mark because the roadblocks are there. And the roadblocks are there because we are not laying emphasis, or we're not putting so much effort in ensuring that peace returns. Not even peace, but just normalcy.
What do you think that should be done for that?
This is a political conflict that is ongoing, and only a political solution will bring us to near normalcy or normalcy in the Northwest and Southwest.
By that,
we are spending by doing the things that have been recommended by Cameroonians of good faith. It's not new. The recommendations have been made. The national dialogue brought forth some recommendations as well, and individuals of good faith have equally proposed solutions to this crisis. But government seems to be giving a blind eye to all of that. Instead, we are spending billions. Let me ask you one question. This project was launched.
Asking me a question.
Yes, I'm a journalist. I'm not an air as a panelist.
Give your contribution to the.
I'm giving my contribution. I can put it in the form of question, and I'll answer. It's a rhetorical question.
Go ahead.
This initiative was launched in 2020. We're in 2023. We're almost in 2024. Look at the international and local attention that or support that the initiative has had. It speaks volume of the fact that this initiative has not been endorsed by our friendly countries and even some national organizations. Just about 3 countries have openly supported the initiative by way of making donations. Just the likes of Japan that gave 1.4 billion. Yes. And then with the recent 21 billion from the Islamic Development Bank, France made a pledge that not yet forfeit. Now look at the big nations, the big friends of Cameroon, the United States. Why do you think they are quiet on this, supporting this project? Why do you think countries like the United Kingdom, Nigeria next door, that are impacted by this conflict? Just last week, Amber Boys got into part of Cross River State and attacked communities there. The Nigerian parliament is already raising alarm over the issue, with about 20 persons kidnapped from local government area in Cross River State. They are affected by the conflict. Why do you think that these countries, these big nations, are not supporting this project financially?
The answer is simple.
The answer is clear because they don't consider it as a way out of the conflict.
Not as a way.
No, it's my humble opinion.
This is the official. This is the official explanation of what you are talking about.
Official from where?
Official from them. And official,
those countries that have not supported, have not publicly commented as to why.
There's one thing Mr. Moa.
Because those are observations. The countries that have not supported have equally not commented why they are not doing so. It's a goodwill gesture. It's a matter of choice. But I'm saying that the quietness of these countries should raise eyebrow as to why we have to take a step back and examine ourselves to understand whether we should be focusing on reconstruction instead of seeking political solutions to the conflict. That is my position.
Those countries have suggested what you are saying. They have said a political solution be sought for the crisis. And they have termed the crisis an internal problem of Cameroon. That's the official position. I want to see how you beat that. As you're saying, that is exactly the position of those countries you are talking about. For now, that is the description of that crisis. Because it is a crisis.
It's an internal crisis. Yet some of them are giving funding to fund the project.
Please, Mr.
But of course, they should allow.
Mr. Moa, I think, well, that's your own view. I think no country is obliged, or our foreign partners is forced, or must to support this initiative. All who are acting on goodwill. And we know some will do it when they see the developments going. You should also know that, like his Killian has said, it is an internal problem and it needs internal solutions. If we have to turn to a neighbor to say, can you assist me in this? That is okay. But what the other countries have done is so good. Remember when this initiative even came in, Cameroonians, I will see even educated people came out and said it was not normal to start reconstruction when the war has not ended and so on. That was, it surprised me about the way Cameroonians
let's not play what about issues of being internal. When the country gets to a level where we have 80,000 Cameroonians as refugees in Nigeria, it's no longer an internal
conflict. Let me come to you.
The figures are there documented by the United Nations agency. But I'm saying is that it cannot be considered internal. Like I said, if you have people who are now residing as refugees in neighboring countries, it becomes an international issue.
But not the figure you are giving.
And then if you have 4,000, 5,000 people killed, it is no longer an internal issue.
Exaggerated figures.
No, except that you have contrary figures.
Listen,
credible international organizations have established those figures.
There's war going on in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, right away. Bumping is taking place on a daily basis.
It's not internal.
Listen, and they've launched the reconstruction of Ukraine. You see countries like America, the World Bank, Britain, many countries already supporting that initiative when the war is going on. How do you look at that?
No, of course, for humanitarian purposes. But we are saying that why they are doing the
why they are
giving assistance to the people seeking solutions.
It's the same thing that the head of state launched in Cameroon for reconstructions to start going on.
Why?
What discussions are still going?
Now,
this thing is a process.
And talking about the process of the reconstruction plan of the Northwest and Southwest, the prospects for this is when the people appropriate, that is the local communities appropriate what is going on, they get involved, they participate in the development or in the recovery, construction and development of this thing. Financial partners get involved, and you see these countries you are talking about.
Killer, let me make a comment on the communities appropriating, in the sense that accepting those projects. Let me tell you, in 2022, the Center for Human Rights and Democracy in Africa released a report saying that over 250 villages, I'm not talking about houses, 250 villages had been burned down by soldiers. Those communities are still bearing grudges. You cannot burn down the land to reconstruct.
They were exaggerations.
You can't talk about exaggeration when you don't have contrary figures.
We had cases where five houses were burnt in a village, and the story coming to mind is that they burned the whole village.
Mr. Senator, is this how you people organize debates in Parliament?
No.
Then you dismiss a figure that they are exaggerated and you don't have contrary figures.
We must speak the truth.
No, what truth are you talking about?
We should not lie because we just feel like
government have not debunked those figures. 250 villages.
And you see on social media the whole village has been put down.
250 houses. According to reports.
Can you name
Senator?
Entire villages raised. Entire villages raised. 200 villages in the Northwest and Southwest. The reports are there. Government did not debunk. And so why don't you want us to rely on those figures? Except you have a contrary.
I can't tell you a lot. We work a lot.
Then you have to establish.
Senator, all areas.
Senator, be it exaggerated or not, these villages are burned down by many uniforms, and people come back to reconstruct. Do you think those villages will accept reconstruction?
Some villages, not all villages have been put down.
Look at Patrick's
250 villages.
Look at
if 70-80% of the entire village have been raised. The report talks about villages that have been raised.
Patrick.
And the documented evidence are there. Except you have contrary figures. I don't
know. See, please, just hold on. You are a desk editor in the Guardian Post. For you to report responsibly, you have to give facts.
Where do those facts come from?
You have
us journalists.
You have to be fair in your facts and responsible. Being fair means you give two sides.
You are not giving me lectures.
No, not lectures. We are talking about it's a debate.
I cannot come here for that.
What we are saying is that you have given figures.
Figures and citing the organizations that establish a figure.
Are you saying that organization have only what the military?
Please, it was both. I'm just using an example.
No, why did you take only one side?
Because to cue in what you said that community should appropriate this initiative. That's why I was partially explaining why some communities are reticent, why some communities are not willing to embrace the initiative, because they are still holding grudges, because their villages were burned down by people they know, and the same people come to rebuild. They cannot accept. That is, I was partially explaining why communities, and that is where the real has to begin.
Until you balance that
of course.
Anyway, if you don't balance that figure, you are talking to people who are very intelligent.
That's not the focus of the debate.
No, the point is
I was only citing figures from organizations that you can verify.
No, when you cite figure you want to give, there is no village where you had burnings that you have not had very horrible burnings from the boys.
Of course, it's both sides. But
why did you take only one side?
I have explained, Kilan. How do I explain? Why are you bullying me on air?
No, not bullying. I
have explained that.
If you bullied it because you are
Anyway, I think we should not be leveled at
Of course.
The fact is this. Because when I get the exchanges between the three of you, there is one thing we must admit, that there is a lot of bad faith in as much as this palaver is concerned. Bad faith on either side of the belligerents, because when there are killings, horrendous killings, some people may want to claim, yes, we did this. The others will say, no, we never did it. So the bottom line is, if we have to get a solution to this thing, we must avoid counting the dead, because if you want to end a war by having to count the dead, you never end that war.
Maybe you have to explain what you mean by counting the dead.
Counting the dead will mean that we keep licking our wounds. You get the point? Because when I listen to Patrick speak, he wants to justify a position. The facts are there, may be there. Please, the facts may be there, but at a certain point in time, if you want to x-ray those facts, bring them to the public place, I don't think you get a solution to what we want to get. Because if we want to give a farewell to arms, and giving a farewell to arms means that we consider in a nutshell that the wrongs were done. We allow accusations and counter-accusations. Because if we have to go on accusations and counter-accusations, we'll never get a solution to the ongoing quagmire. It is factual. Before I stepped on the panel, I overheard the senator talking about peace. When you want to talk peace, it is a must, make concessions. But at moment, apparently, none of the belligerents wants to make concessions, and that wouldn't work.
I beg your pardon.
What I have said, because
what were the demands? What were the demands of those who started this crisis? Wait. Is to tell you that if you go back to how this thing started,
yes,
you know that it was a kind of 12 points that doubled to 24 points.
25.
And almost all those
are
points,
corporate demands, so we're no longer at that level.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. We mean
so keep going back to that.
We have to go back to that.
So
because
if you stop all of that, I don't stop the demands of those who are
I had the floor.
You know why Patrick jumped in? Because he saw me coming to actually say, what are you talking about?
Let me get to the end of my reflection.
It's a plan of people. Without the corporate demands or not, this thing would have come up.
Let me get to the end of my reflection. I want to say this. I want to throw a rhetorical one again. Do you know why the major national dialogue was summoned?
We know.
Why was it summoned?
No, don't ask questions. Tell us.
Okay. It was summoned because of the ongoing.
It was not summoned because of the corporate demands.
Yes,
that's why I like the question.
So we shouldn't get back to try to say we blindfolding a people. The problems are there. Give them a solutions. The resolutions of the major national dialogue applicable? Have they been applied?
So many of them.
So many of them.
Piecemeal.
Yeah, there are short-term, there are long-term solutions, and we should gradually go to solve this. It's not that people just want magic to happen overnight. You know, this conflict is a multifaceted type of conflict. No one solution will solve it all.
Of course, there's no magic one.
So, and the way it is going, I hear Cameroonians keep saying they should go back to the original, to the root causes of this problem. To me, the root causes, I'll say, were the problems of the lawyers and the teachers. Anything that coming along the way, those are not the root causes.
Why were the teachers and lawyers first of all angry?
But they gave them what they wanted.
The crisis didn't start.
Yeah, they were angry and they saw the problem.
Senator,
They
you
said
see,
as a father,
you see, if we really have, if we want a way out of this conflict, we have to be honest with ourselves.
all of us are very honest.
Teachers did not just get up, or lawyers did not just get up
problems.
and start demanding. It has been a long history of problems that have been manifested both in the court, in the markets, in the
If you
schools,
saw the
and
head
all
of
of that.
state giving them
So if you want to,
they were right.
if you think that the Anglophone problem
They were right with their
is a problem that started in 2016, then you are getting all wrong.
It started far back.
Then we are
Yes.
getting all wrong.
Started
sir.
far back.
The
All due
accusations
respect.
of the lawyers and teachers were genuine, and that's why the head of state showed a lot of attention.
And that was just a section of the problems
So
that
if you manage
Anglophones
it
are
that way,
facing.
don't,
So
to me, I said to me, I call that's the root cause of this
the root
problem.
cause started in 2016, Senator.
Teachers and lawyers started this thing, and people started going
And
to the
2016, so
They
the
didn't
Anglophone
they didn't
problem
feel that
started in
people
2016.
had
not
started
actually in
bringing it after
2016.
that.
So the Anglophone problem started in 2016.
that was
People have been complaining. When we were growing up, people were complaining.
Yes, that is
Of
what
course,
is-
when we
that-
talk of underdevelopment and
that's
so on.
what is
If
the
you want to
purpose.
move it, you are in Yaoundé.
If we want to solve
Go
it,
just 10 kilometers.
if we want to solve it permanently, we don't have to limit ourselves to 2016. That's the point. So if a debate on the Anglophone problem comes to Parliament,
Yes.
you say that you advise Parliament that they should limit the problems to the issues that were raised in 2016.
Listen, the way we have solved this problem, or we have been struggling to solve this problem, and with the criminality that is taking place now,
All of us condemn that.
what is happening?
Nobody-
People being executed, and you want us to come and start and begin to tamper on terrorists?
Nobody goes in for that, Senator.
That's not the point.
we get
That's not the
everybody.
point. That's
We are
not-
all
I like-
victims.
I like that comment.
We are not solving the problems of the banks who are carrying those weapons. I'm not
So
solving
if
the
we want
problem.
It's
peace,
okay.
if we want peace, we speak the truth.
It's okay.
And see how we bring peace. Everybody is hurt in this crisis.
Yes.
And if, like you've said, Mr.
Ernest
Akufo
Akufo.
said, if we have to look, we should not look at the losses.
Of course.
If we turn back and start going emotional on the losses, because I was already becoming emotional, because I'm a very big victim.
All of us are
All of us are victims.
But I'm not a
All of
peace
us
crusader.
are
I'm a
victims.
peace crusader.
Crusader, yeah.
Not a very big victim. It doesn't mean that I don't have a conscience.
Thank you very much. I like that common position that's affecting all of us.
Yes.
We have to move forward. Now, our topic here is to see what the presidential plan for the reconstruction and development of Northwest Southwest has done, how far they've gone with this. We've seen a bit of what they have done. Now we're going to go forward with the 10 more minutes that we have left to go to the end of this program to see what is expected from these people to achieve their missions, to carry out their missions. Beginning with Ernest.
I think what is expected is the fact that I want to first of all laud the effort of the Islamic Development Bank for the fabulous sum of money they sent. But we must be very careful. We shouldn't only hear the figures and we're so excited over the fabulous sums of money. We must see how palpable the money is being used.
From beginning, the initiative, that is the plan, had 89 billion that had to span for 10 years.
No, the 89 billion is what is expected, but
Yes.
not what is at hand.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
What I'm
What was
saying.
expected.
That had to span for 10
Yes.
years. So we mean that by 2030, we're supposed to reconstruct the Northwest and Southwest. The question is not with who is contributing. The question I'm asking that we face out with on this program today is, what do we expect from the plan, from the reconstruction and development coordinators to carry out the task that has been given to them by the President of the Republic?
That is a good
That
one.
is a kind of solution.
That's
to
a
that
good
problem.
one. You see, all of this demands a mindset, right? If you don't start by reconciling the people, I don't think anything you do development, they'll be happy about it, because at the very moment they feel that you are trying to play over them, things may go sour again. So I want to expect that the people concerned with it should build the minds of the people. It starts from the mind. When the mind is not welcoming, you give gold, the mind will not take. That should be one of it. Secondly, the reconstruction should get the plan. The population concerned should feel it. Let me take a case like this. Yes, NS was affected. Okay, today NS sees his village being constructed and he hasn't got maybe a house, just a room from his house which was maybe set ablaze. Do you think NS shall ever be happy? All of those must be sought out. Yes, all of those must be sought out and known that, okay, who are the direct victims to this crisis, and they are. It's not like giving them compensation. They are, well, wipe their tears, right? Yes, but when you come, it becomes a junk, a free for all fight. People jump on it because they are seeing it. It doesn't serve the purpose. And to end it all, I think setting up a reconciliation committee to reconcile the people within themselves, I think will be very important.
Yes, the steering committee is chaired by the Director of Cabinet in the Prime Minister's office. I should say that, the steering committee.
Yes, so
he was recently in Bamenda.
Yeah,
talk about reconciliation, not steering.
Reconciliation. The people must be reconciled between themselves. Because if you don't, like Senator was talking about his peace spray, there must be reconciliation involved. You cannot be talking peace when you don't reconcile the people. It wouldn't work. It will be an exercise in futility.
Thank you very much for those suggestions.
Just to clear that point. We have done certain things as a movement where we actually reconcile people. And I will not tell you a lie. I reconciled with the guy that burnt my only house with all its content. And I spoke with him. I said, you burnt my house, but I've forgiven you. He said, Daddy, I'm sorry. But we need now physical activities.
Where is he?
Is he still carrying out?
You know what happened?
Tell us.
He was arrested by the population at one point with guns. He was locked up in Bamenda. 2 years later, he was released. He's now with 10 guns. Terrorizing the people again.
He's back.
He's back. So you can imagine what is happening with people. Now, we have made some attempts with some of them that were not very harsh on the population. They have actually gone to kneel down in front of the father and said, Daddy, I beg you, I don't know where to do. And they say, okay. And these guys are living in the communities now, going to their farms. They are married. Their life is going on quite okay. So this reconciliation aspect must be taken. And with the very hardened ones who have committed more serious crimes, it should be done and even documented. Like the peace and the reconciliation, this program in South Africa where Archbishop Desmond Tutu was carrying out. People need to see it physical. People need to see it on TV that, oh, there's a reconciliation. This guy has actually stepped down. He has apologized to the community that he was harassing and so on. We need that. I think that's a very wonderful recommendation, sir. And our movement is working gradually, and all of you are part of this movement because the efforts you are doing behind there as an individual are all for peace. So we're just there as a name, as leaders of a Northwest Southwest Peace Movement for Cessation of Violence. But the actual action is being taken by the population, by elite, which we really appreciate. The administration is doing quite a wonderful thing. The clergy are doing just their best. And we continue to encourage them to do more for peace to return.
Patrick, we are giving this task to the managers of the reconstruction plan, who have the confidence of the head of state. A good initiative, reconstruct these places that have been destroyed. If you were to talk to them, we invited them, they didn't come. We wanted them to clarify what they are doing on the ground. If you were to talk to them, you are a media person, what will you tell them to do?
Well, without just giving a straightforward answer to your question, I think that the people have even, members of the public have even been picking holes with the choice of the people who have been appointed to reconstruct. So even before I pass a message to them, those that are in charge, it is important for the head of state or the powers that be to understand that the people on the ground, they seem not to be comfortable with the choice of the people who have been appointed to manage us, because we still see by the politicians, the same people who are even part of the
We don't have a Jesus Christ in Cameroon. There's no Jesus Christ in Cameroon.
We are not expecting a Jesus Christ.
With a lot of mistakes.
What if a priest? What if a bishop? What if this was happening? We don't know. We are saying that people who have just dumped their civilian garments yesterday are not passive or neutral people. What are managing some of these things?
There are people with integrity.
I'm not questioning the integrity, sir. I'm just speaking. We are on the ground.
It doesn't mean that
we are on the ground. And what we speak, we are speaking the position of the people.
Yeah.
But some see the CBD as being evil. You are not getting it for the first time.
That is some. And they have
I like you put it some.
I said some.
But majority still depend on.
So it's true that we are getting to the end of the program. I just want to hope and wish that all of this money that is trooping in, destined for the project, should be used for the purpose for which it's intended. And the groundworks must be done, like my man Akufo said. Trying to reconcile the people, trying to give them some appeasement actions that will douse the tension that is on the ground, because it's very important. Because you cannot construct a house for somebody who's not even willing to take the house. The initiatives going on, they are registering people for those who have lost property and all of that. Some people are not even willing to do so because they are not yet ready to even embrace the initiative. They are not even sure of getting back to those areas where the houses were burnt. Our learned senator said, I'm not sure the last time he spent a night in Widikum.
But I'm not telling you, why will I go when the violence is...
That's what I say. So even if your house is reconstructed, you end up not making use of the house. So now that they are reconstructing, focus or attention should be given to aspects that will benefit communities like those hospitals, the boreholes, the water project schemes, schools, and all of that, and even small roads for people, for accessibility, for people to move.
And that they should be made known.
Of course,
it should be made known to other people that this is what we are doing, so that it encourages.
But it is true that I appreciate the communication around the reconstruction, because
that is important.
It's important because communication too is really important. It's true that they are doing a lot of work on the ground silently, using the implementing partner, the United Nations Development Program, and then civil society organizations that are on the ground. This thing should not have any political color.
Exactly.
Once it has a political color,
it has failed.
That alone,
believe you me,
the contractor that we invited to the program should have shared his experience with our public. Unfortunately, there were issues. He didn't come. He has been with other contractors involving the local communities.
Let the people
all the contracts that he has
let
carried
the people stay away from the
contracts.
We
have nothing against.
We have to still take part in everything. Just like the opposition that I know you support. They have the right to come to the political zone. I'm not a political animal. Where will you vote when time comes? You vote in the air?
You should start by asking when last I voted.
We're not going to ask you. We're not going to ask you for that. Yes, that would be the last.
Yeah, Killian, I will not tell a lie. It will not be good to end this without actually congratulating what I saw this commission doing. Their first visit to Southwest, when they enumerated and showed on TV the projects that have been realized in the Southwest, I myself, which I didn't know, I said, my God, so this thing has actually been going. And when they made a visit to the Northwest and showed projects in the Northwest, I said, God, so this is happening. It's real. Communication is one major thing they should do. We congratulate them in the Southwest with all the major projects they did. We congratulate the regional team in the Northwest as well with their peace process that has been going on, guiding people and talking about this reconciliation process and the actions they have to take, especially with our special status, which we have to stand and as elite of the region, support all their actions and even give ideas on how we can carry water in this basket that we feel that is.
Thank you very much. When I invited the Northwest Regional Assembly President, who was on the set here with the Southwest Regional Assembly President, the two came and we were marveled by the construction, the development projects that are going on, and we want to take this opportunity to encourage them that they should go ahead. We need to reconstruct. It is for the good of all of us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, you've not missed so much, because this program will be rebroadcast on Monday at 2:30, a program on which you had the contributions of Ernest Akufo, who is a civil society actor. We had our own Senator Henry Francis, who is the co-founder of the movement for the cessation of violence in the Northwest and Southwest regions. They have been there to make sure that violence ceases and for this reconstruction and development we're talking about to go on. Thank you for coming, Honorable Senator, because you are a former member of Parliament and you also led the Cameroonian delegation to Nigeria and South Africa for peace on the national dialogue. Thank you very much for the different portfolios that you have. Our own Moa Patrick, when we said that he is critical from the beginning of the program, he wanted to say no, and then we ended up just discovering that he is. Thank you very much for spicing the program, Patrick. We are very glad. That's why we always invite you on Press Hour. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for giving us your time, and once again, we wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.